by asking you about last weekend.
Mhm.
You kind of rebounded from a slump that you'd had where you lost 2 in a row, and it seemed like you were kind of riding the struggle bus. And I don't think anybody anticipated that you would have such a strong outing against St. Cloud, kind of a dominant. So what did you guys do to flip the script?
Well, we had a lot of time to think about the 3 games, right? So there was obviously our guys were not happy with the way the CC game ended to make it 3, and we get back to work, and we had a good latter part of the week. Our first part of the week was a little bit disjointed because we had some guys out, but they were ready to play, and we came out, and the big difference was we got a lead and built on it. Where in some other games we either haven't scored in the 3 games, we didn't. We had opportunities to build on leads, but this time we did, and I thought our guys had a really good start, and getting that first goal was really critical because we hadn't scored a lot of goals, and we were fighting that, and to get the second and the third, I think gave our team a big lift, and had a really good first period, and we made that hold up the rest of the game. Even when they scored their goal, we got another one back right away to keep it that 3-goal lead. So that was really important against St. Cloud.
And then can you talk about Zach playing that game and what he brought to the table? He hasn't played too many games for you this year.
No. Yeah, we've been in a rotation. The only time we missed the rotation was when he didn't go to Miami. Like we had kind of go to Ryan on Friday and Saturday. We're starting to go with that. And Zach missed. He had a lower body injury, so he missed, but then got back in there. So it was just pretty much his rotation. And I thought again, the games he's played well for us. Last time he played against St. Cloud, he didn't give up a goal until the 3-on-3 when Koepke scored. So it's another good game against them, another 1-goal game against them. So he's had some really good outings, and we're in a good position there with goaltending. So we'll decision a little bit tougher moving forward, but I like where we're at, and I liked his game on Saturday.
Yeah, and I imagine this has been kind of a challenging season with so many games against the NCAA competition, and the way you guys have had to manage COVID and the changes in your schedule that have happened occasionally. So, can you talk about any of how you guys have managed some of that, and what you think about how the season's unfolded and where you're at as far as hoping to go for a 3rd NCAA tournament title?
Well, yeah, obviously, I think we all know it's been a crazy year. It certainly seems like even coming out, I thought the pod was outstanding because we were busy. And, we were playing a lot of games, and we were seeing different teams, and the second half, we haven't seen a lot of different opponents. It's been basically 3 teams, and obviously we got the game with CC, but, and then we did have the pause there for 10 days where we missed the 1 weekend after we just got going. So we came out of that pretty well, but it's just, I don't know, it feels like times where you can't get a lot of rhythm going. It's just been so different for guys. Everybody's going through it. Everyone's had their own different struggles. Some have handled it well. I think our guys have handled it well. But this is the time of the year too, in any year where the excitement ramps up because it's the end of the year and the playoffs are coming, and it's kind of that second season for everybody, and that's really when you look at this year, it really is a second season with single game elimination and teams that maybe have that opportunity to win the league tournament or continue to play. They want to play well, and but I think overall it's just been unique. There's no question, but we're thankful that we're going to get 20. We've got 23 games. We're getting to 24, and to me, I think that's still an amazing accomplishment for all teams that have been able to play. And we're just hoping that get to the Grand Forks and get the playoffs and start that second season. And if we can play longer than that, right now we got to win games. We got to win games. And right now, it's like I told our guys, sure way to get to the NCAA tournament is win the league tournament. And that's the only guarantee right now that anybody has.
Yeah, and it seems like it's, especially with the fact that the first round isn't going to be the normal best of 3, and you won't be able to play at home, be on the neutral ice in North Dakota, where you know, I think I would imagine at least a lot of the North Dakota fans who will be in attendance are going to view you as their chief competition. So it's going to be somewhat of a hostile environment. So, you know, I guess it kind of prepares you a little bit.
No, it'd be good if we create some emotion in the building, whether we're playing them or not. It's fine. You know what? It'll be fun to have some people there. And again, you know what? You're gonna play in neutral sites pretty much the rest of the way anyway. So it'll be fine. And looking forward to playing St. Cloud this weekend and hopefully getting another win and finishing second and trying to build that momentum going into that first playoff game.
Yep. Can you talk about Nick Swaney's play this year and what he's done to kind of consistently lead the offense for you this season?
Yeah, he's had a really, really good year for us, Candace. He's been good from the start. He's been consistent, like you mentioned. He's been a good leader for us. He's one of the vocal guys on our team. Obviously, last weekend against St. Cloud, he had a great game, getting the hat trick, but it kind of goes along with his year. So it's not surprising. It was nice to see him get rewarded with, maybe more than 1 or 2 goals, but I thought his play all night and their line was really good. But we need those guys. Like I talked to our upperclassmen during the week and just said, hey, you know what, you guys have been there and done that, and you've been through some of these stretches. You got to help pull us through. And those guys have been our leaders, and Nick's right at the top of that list. And he's had a great year for us. And I know he'll continue to lead our team moving forward.
So your program as a whole, obviously there was big news this week with Mike Surdich being recognized. Can you talk about what that's meant to the hockey program and the school in general?
Well, again, anytime you see a colleague and someone that's an alumnus of our program get recognized with a prestigious award, I mean, certainly there's not many people more deserving of it than him. He's given a lot back to the game. He was obviously an integral part of building this program. Obviously I got to follow in his footsteps, but we're good friends and we've always been good friends, and I have a lot of respect for Mike and him as not just a hockey coach, but he's a good person. We both like fishing and we both like the outdoors. So we've gotten to be able to do that a little bit. Maybe not so much lately, but it was kind of fun. I learned a few things fishing with him too, but no, it's a great honor for him. And like I said, anytime it's someone that's associated with your program, you take a lot of pride in that.
Last question. Obviously, St. Cloud's going to be gunning for you after kind of getting blown out last week. And I think that's another thing that's different about this season. You're seeing the same teams week in and week out, and so they might be bringing a little extra. So, what are you going to need to kind of repeat the success you had on Saturday and come out on top again?
We're going to need to bring extra, right? It's like I told you guys, Monday, don't exhale. And we want them, and it feels good, and you should feel good, but it's back to work here. And you brought it up, they're going to be ready. Obviously the fun part about this game is that there's some meaning here. You know what, we're both playing for seeding, and we both want to finish in second, and you want to finish the year on a good note. So it's not like it's a meaningless game. If we were already set with where we're all going to finish, there'll be meaning, but there's more on the line. And I think that's great, because even the way the game ended, there was emotion in the game and a little chippy stuff. But again, I think it's a great way to get ready for the playoffs. And to me, it is a playoff game, with that, second place on the line. So, it'll be a fun game, but we've got to be a better team too. So we know what's coming, and hopefully we can handle it and go in there and, put together a good 60 minutes and get a win.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Scott. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, we'll go over to Matt.
Scott, I know last week you had mentioned you had a few guys miss practice, but how are you guys sitting injury-wise and health-wise going into this final regular season game in the playoffs?
Pretty good. We got one guy that will be questionable. I don't know yet. He skated again today, and he looked better today than he did yesterday. So I think by Saturday everybody will be available. But as of right now, they are. I just don't know what kind of shape one of them's in. So, but I think we're fine. We're fine.
Back to Matt.
Well, I got to ask, you might not give me the answer. Who's that player that might be questionable?
Not going to tell you.
Okay. Um, Scott, kind of talking to Candace about the oddness of this season here. What's it been like the last 3 weeks here? You guys start the pod playing 9 games in 3 weeks. Now you're playing, 3 games in 3 weeks. Just how different has this felt from the beginning of the season, or even to normally where we're at, during a normal year in the regular season at this point?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it goes along with, I mean, even, usually you have a normal year, and in January and February, you're so much into your routine, and you're so much into the weeks of practice and the games, and that, you're looking at this time of the year, giving guys days off and trying to, kind of dumb it down a little bit. But you know what, in the last few weeks, it's like, again, we had a little scrimmage today. I just told our guys, like, we've played 2 games in 3 weeks, leading up to this. We haven't played a lot of hockey, so let's make sure we get something out of the scrimmage and not just go through the motions. And, I think I'd much rather do that than do a bunch of drills. I think you get a lot out of it. And I thought our guys were good today, and, you don't have to do it long. It's just, it's the mentality of it and the game situational part of it that helps. See, but it's been different. There's no question. Especially when you've lost games, right? You know what? Prior to last Saturday, we had a lot of time to stew, and like I said, be pissed or whatever you want to say, and our guys came back and responded the right way. I just don't want us to take the foot off the gas here, because Lars's team's going to be ready. They're a good hockey team. Maybe we took advantage of some things that they didn't do well. They're going to be better at it in their building. And like I said, both teams want to finish on a good note and want a shot at second place. Because again, when you look at the tournament, it's another extra day if you finish 1 or 2 before you have to play again if you win that first game. So that extra day can be critical.
Go to Sam.
Scott, was this game more competitive than what the scoreboard showed, given that the 4 games earlier in the season were a lot closer than what you guys did this past weekend?
Yeah, I think you look at the last 40 minutes. I think our first period was really good, Sam. I thought we got off to a good start. We got the lead. Like I said, we scored some goals quickly, and we built on that lead. And you know what? I didn't like personally, I didn't like our second period as much as the first, but they came back, and that's what you expect. You get up on a team 3-0, they're going to have pushback, and they certainly did. And they got a power play goal to make it fun, but we responded with a 4th goal. And again, all our games, the score is great, makes you breathe easier, but every game against them is hard fought. It's usually a tight game, and we had a good first period that we made hold up over the rest of the game.
Go back to Matt. Go back to Matt.
Scott, with the way the schedule's been the last 3 weeks, are there things you've been able to get to at the end of the season that maybe you aren't able to? You mentioned the hard scrimmage the other day, but are there things you've been able to do differently than a normal year because of the schedule and the extra time? Maybe even things that you can do now that you couldn't at the beginning of the year.
Maybe a little bit. I think this like last week, like I said, it was a little bit of a disjointed week with missing some guys, because you want to do some team things, not just skill things, but so they kind of cut into it a little bit. But there's a couple of things touching on, besides the normal things. Like I said, maybe a little more 4-on-4, just work on 4-on-4. I mean, the 3-on-3 is obviously ending this weekend, so we're not going to see that again, but 4-on-4 can be critical moving forward. Just making sure that's kind of everyone's on the same page there. Obviously you got 5-6 situations, 6-on-5 situations, which you always say you're going to practice them, but you never do. But and I think moving forward, whether it's 4-on-3, 6-on-4, there's always things that you can do that you maybe one game you might be in that situation moving forward, right? But not a whole lot. I mean, it's just trying to make sure, shoring up, making sure we're all kind of doing the same things, or we're all on the same page with our system stuff and face-offs and all those things that go along with it. Obviously, we spent more time the last couple of weeks trying to figure out how to score goals. So we'll continue to do that, and just keep hammering it home. And the funny thing is sometimes it's simple, you know. And our guys proved that a little bit on Saturday with a couple of good bounces. Like I told you before, if you get pucks there, one might go off a skate or a leg, and lo and behold, the first 2 goals go in off a skate and a leg. So hopefully we can continue to get a little bit more of that puck luck moving forward.
Over to Sam.
Scott, you talked about speaking with the upperclassmen, and they really stepped up this past weekend and came through for you guys. What about the younger guys on the team? What kind of conversations are you having with them, and what kind of contributions are you hoping to get to them now that we're getting into playoff time?
Well, I think you've seen what some of them have been able to do. You know, I think Wyatt Kaiser's had a really, really good year for a freshman, and you know, Connor Kelly's come on. I think Darian Goetz back there has gotten some good minutes and proved that he could play up front. You know, Biondi and Millimak, Blake's played a lot, and you know, again, it's just consistency with those guys. But I think they've done some really good things. You know, to me, it's more of impressing upon them. You know, just you're a big part of the team. Just go out and do your job, right? Just do your job. It's no different than I'm telling the older guys. You know, the older guys have just been there before, and the older guys have to share that with those guys too, what this time of the year is all about. You guys got to remember, last year we had some freshmen that didn't play in the playoffs or get a chance to play in the NCAA tournament. And the groups that are here as juniors and seniors, that's all they know. So, you know, the Quinn Olsons and the Luke Lowheights, those guys, types of, you know, they haven't played in our playoffs, and they haven't got a taste of what the NCAA is about. So that's why the juniors and seniors are important to our team when it gets to, you know, this time of the year. Again, reminders, talking about them, you know, how to navigate that. They've also been through tough stretches where our freshmen haven't been through any tough stretches except for now. So again, those guys are the guys you lean on to help navigate you through some tough times and get you back on track. And I can't say enough about what they did last weekend. They were our leaders on the ice, and they kind of got us back on track for a game. So hopefully that bodes well. But you know, I'm not telling the younger guys anything any different except go out and do your job and play your game. And you know, just our older guys have a little more experience.
All right, we'll go to Matt, then John.
Scott, what do you think of the season that Kobe Bender has had, you know, what he's done over his career to put himself in this position and be a big part of helping you guys score goals here now?
I think he's had a really good year, Matt. I think, you know, we've seen bits and pieces. I thought last year even too, I thought he started to really kind of come into his own. You know, he scored some big goals for us. And this year, obviously, you know, it's probably confidence for him. You know, I think his first couple of years here, he was in and out a little bit, but I'll give him a lot of credit. You know, I mean, that's kind of been a staple in our program. You know, we've had some guys that have come in and have been a big part of our team their latter couple of years, maybe not as much as their first couple of years, but I like Kobe's stick-to-itness. He stayed with it, and you know, he kept battling even though there was ups and downs, and you know, now he's getting rewarded. And you know, he's been a big part of our team. You know, he's on our power play now. He's, you know, he can kill penalties. He hasn't done a lot of it. You know, he's got the speed, and you know, right now he's a dangerous player when he gets going because he's got the ability to score some goals, make plays, and his speed is, you know, it's a lot like Koepke's, right? And that speed can do some good things, whether it's, you know, beating a defenseman, getting first on a forecheck, whatever, pulling away from guys. But no, he's had a good year, and I give him a lot of credit. You know, I give him a lot of credit for just staying with it. But you know, hopefully he'll continue. You know, that he can, you know, be a big part of our team and be a big contributor here down the stretch.
All right, we'll go to John. Got to unmute, John.
There you are.
Yeah.
Never sounded so good, John. You never sounded so good.
You
Unmute.
got to watch these guys. You know, they push the button and you're gone, Scott. It's tough. You know, after all these years, they just push the button and you're shut up. I was just going to say, usually at this time of year, as a close observer of you, usually at this time of year, there's no doubt who's going to be your goaltender. And now you've got two that are, they look to me equal. I mean, they both look good. I was a little surprised you started Zach last week, but now what are you going to do this week? Or are you going to keep us in suspense?
I'm going to keep you in suspense because I haven't told them yet either. So,
Have you decided?
yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay. I just wondered because this will prove whether you're going to alternate or stick with one.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. You never know. Like you can, hey, the one thing about goalies sometimes is plans change. That's all I know. You can go with a great plan, but sometimes they change.
And all you
Unless you have a guy for 2+ years that plays every game.
and all you want is not to have to use both of them. Because that would mean you have reason to change.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, no, they both have done good. And, you know, I thought, again, Zach played it. He hasn't given up too many, you know. And then probably the one he did give up, he wants back because first he said it was a bad goal on him, but, you know, he's only given up 2 goals against that team in the last 2 games. So.
That's right. It makes the decision a little tougher.
It's always good to have tough decisions, right?
That's why you get the big money.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I'd rather have tough decisions than easy decisions. That means guys are playing well.
That's right.
Guys are pushing each other, so that's good.
All right. Do we have any final questions here? Awesome. Thanks for your time, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Joined here by Cole Koepke prior to UMD's 1-game series here with SCSU for the final regular season game. We'll go straight to questions, starting with Matt.
Cole, you guys started the regular season playing 9 games in 3 weeks in a pod in Omaha, and now you've played. You're going to close playing 3 games in 3 weeks. I'm just wondering for you as a player, what's the end of this regular season been like compared to whether it's the start of the pod or even going back to previous years? Just how different and is this strange at all or anything? Just how do you interpret this end of a regular season? It's definitely unique.
Yeah, it's been just a unique season in general. Like you said at the beginning of the year during that pod, we were playing games pretty much every other day for a while. And then it's kind of got back to normal this year. And now playing just 1 game a weekend, honestly, it's kind of been nice for a player towards the end of the year. We're able to get a little more rest time and recover our bodies a little better. And then as a team, get more time for practice to prep ourselves properly for this weekend.
Go to Sam.
Cole, with being able to bust out of that slump, how important was that kind of to just, because Coach always talked about how, PO'd you guys were and kind of how upset you guys were during practice to be able to get that, especially against St. Cloud. How did that kind of improve the morale of the team during practice?
Yeah, it was huge for us. I mean, I think, like you said, obviously our team wasn't happy with the previous 3 games that we played and put ourselves in kind of a tough situation to try and get that highest seed left possible for us. And we had a good week of practice, and then it carried over into the game. And I think we just kind of came out of the gates, started good as a team and able to play a full 60 minutes. And that was huge. And now we have to do the same thing this weekend if we want to get that 2nd seed going into North Dakota.
Over to Matt.
Cole, again, going back to, kind of how this season is wrapping up here. Are there things, not playing as many games, not having as big of a grind here to close the regular season, are there things you feel like you've been able to work on and get better on that maybe you didn't have a chance to focus on in previous seasons as you started these postseason runs?
I don't know if there's one thing just in particular. I think one thing this season has brought on us is just that we've had to learn a lot faster, especially at the beginning of the year. We didn't have 2 games and then an entire week of practice to kind of clean things up before we played again. It was just kind of had to just do video and didn't really have a chance to practice things, just more talk about.
Just kind of this last stretch run, kind of just, what do you hope to put into it?
Yeah. And obviously we had goals, I think, beginning of the season. Our first goal is kind of get home ice. Obviously that's a little bit different because now we're playing at a neutral site, but we still have the opportunity to get the highest seed possible. And that's a 2 seed for us. So I think the biggest thing is kind of starting this weekend, winning a hockey game, putting us in the best position to going into the NCHC playoffs. And from there, I think the major goal is kind of to win that tournament. I think we know that we can play with the best teams. And I think our conference has shown that year in and year out, we have the best teams in the country. So that's a huge tournament for us, and it's going to take everybody, but I think that we have the team to do it. And I think everyone believes in that.
Go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, I mentioned to you about how great you were scoring in one of your last press appearances, and then the team immediately quit scoring completely. So I didn't say anything last week, and you got one off your heel, and it's funny how something like that can just trigger a whole turnaround in you personally. But do you feel like things snap back into rhythm for you personally? On like every shift, you looked like you were a threat.
Yeah, I think obviously when teams in general, I think when you go through like kind of a little scoring slump, I think not scoring much in Western Michigan and only scoring once against CC, I think the biggest thing I think we've kind of talked about is kind of just getting back to little things, putting pucks on net, getting bodies to the net, and good things happen when you do that. So I think for me and I think everyone else in the locker room, I think it's just kind of a mindset thing. Going in, maybe having a goal shots on goal game or doing the little things, I think they add up. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me is just that mindset.
You know, when people talk about ugly goals, greasy goals, all the cliches that fit now, everyone says the same terms, but the funny thing is getting to the net. Sure, if one bounces in off you, that's fine. But you guys seem to make a lot of really great, intricate plays in heavy traffic and congestion when you go to the net. It's not like you just go in there for a garbage.
No, yeah, I think obviously, like you said, I mean, you'll take any goal that you get, one that maybe bounced off a skate or hits somebody else and goes in. But I think that's the one thing. I know Sandy talks about it, Krause, Planner. They always talk about when you're in tight, you got to be able to make those little plays. So maybe just kick it to the back door, have a little tap. And I think just kind of having that poise and having the ability to make those plays in tight, it adds up.
So now to finish up, everyone wonders what you're going to do. I think a hat trick a game would be just about right.
I think that sounds pretty nice to me. So we'll see how long we can keep that going.
Okay.
All right. Do we have any final questions here for Nick?
Yeah, I'll throw one more at Nick. Nick, your class, because that 17-18 season got to familiarize themselves with the pairwise pretty well that year with how you guys got in. I'm wondering how some of you guys are following, things this year. Who's your resident bracketologist on the team, trying to figure out where you guys stand?
Honestly, I don't even think a lot of us really understand kind of how they're picking the tournament and everything. I think kind of the biggest thing that we've been talking about is just winning as many hockey games as we can, kind of put the committee or whoever's picking or pairwise, however they're doing it, kind of we can determine, I think, what we do at the end of the season. So for us, I think it's just winning hockey games and hopefully that we get in the tournament.